Welcome back, everyone, to today's podcast. This is episode number 2 of the Team Sessa Real Estate Podcast. This is a father-son podcast, and here we're going to be discussing a whole bunch of different things. But what are we going to be talking about today, Pa?
Hello. You said I could speak, right? Yeah. You said I could say hello after you're done.
You wave.
That was a long...
You wave.
If it's a podcast, nobody's seeing me wave. You know, it's a true father-son that the dad doesn't get a chance to say a word otherwise. Anyways, we are talking about what it is that I do every day, all day long, 7 days a week.
Okay, that's interesting.
Is it?
What do you do? Because I see you leave the house early. I see you come home late.
Yeah.
And I see you spend a lot of time on your phone. I don't know if that's games or work. So what is it that you do?
Well, a lot of people think I don't like my family. That's why I stay away. But I can assure you that's not it. I love my family, especially this guy over here. Okay, so let's talk about what I do all day. Okay, let's talk about hours, first of all. My alarm goes off at 5:30. I'm out of the house by 6:30. Usually, do all that stuff in the morning before I take off, breakfast. Normally at the door by 6:30. Every morning, I go to one of 3 places. I either go straight to the office, and the office is about 20 minutes away, or I go to the gym. I do that 3 days a week, or I go to a client, which isn't too often, I got to say, at that time of the day. But every now and then, I'm working with a client where especially some of the we'll say the older clients that maybe I got to talk to them before a certain time, before they take off somewhere. Some of the ones going to work, I got to speak with some people sometimes, and they're not so comfortable with maybe electronic signatures or certain things. I prefer to explain in person, and that's why I'm there. But it's not too often. So it's normally office or gym, sometimes client, and that's my day as far as when I start. Then you see me come home sometimes for dinner, sometimes, and then I'm gone again. Usually my day finishes around 9, usually. Sometimes, if we're dealing with an offer, it can go on till midnight, 1 o'clock, and that's just part of the business. And that going extra late could happen at any time without any notice. So many times I've either sat down to dinner or sit with your mom, my wife, who's also a realtor, by the way, Santo Sessa. She's actually the first one in our family that became a realtor.
That's right.
And then suckered me into it. and sometimes we sit down to relax, watch a movie. Phone call comes in, everything changes. And thank God she understands, and I'm out the door late at night.
Well, that's interesting because, I think there are a lot of people that don't understand necessarily how those hours are. Right? Because there's, like you said, I've seen it so many times. There's been countless times where he's eating, we're watching a movie, we're doing something, we can even be out. We'll all be out for dinner. And then all of a sudden a call comes in. He has to put in an offer. He has to deal with an offer. And it's like everything kind of has to go on pause until that gets dealt with. So, that definitely takes a bit of understanding. So I guess it's a good thing Mom understands that.
She understands. Yeah. She's great. What a lot of people don't get, there's perception and reality. You ask, I want to be a realtor. And the first thing that comes to your mind is you get to walk through beautiful houses and you get to deal with millions and millions of dollars. And it's pretty cool. And although that aspect is there, there's a lot more to it. Yeah. If you're truly into your trade, and just like any other trade, any other business, you need to treat real estate as a business. So that's what fills up a lot of hours in a day. There's a certain amount of time during the course of the day devoted to generating more business. So the marketing side of things, for example, we market our listings. A lot of people understand that. We do a lot of social media marketing. We do the videos for marketing for our listings. We also market for our buyers. So our buyers are looking for properties and maybe there's nothing on the MLS that suits them. Well, we will market in that neighborhood they're after to find other properties. So that takes time. We market for our business to attract. You're running a business. No one else is going to do this for us. We're self-employed, right?
That brings me to actually a really cool quote that I forget who said it, but someone said it. They said that when I got my real estate license, I was an entrepreneur with a real estate license.
Right.
Who was that? That was Gabriel, I think.
Maybe.
Maybe, might have been.
Maybe you've got to
But someone
be
said that.
an entrepreneur. I mean, there's a ton of part-time realtors that are okay, not marketing and just
Yeah.
a few kind of I mean, business from family and friends. But if you're truly going to do this right, you need to market. You need to learn about marketing. You need to learn how to generate more business. You need to deal with expenses. You need to deal with budgeting. You're getting paid on commission. So it's not like you can just say, I'm going to spend this. You have to account for and budget for what's happening. And you got to have you got to deal with expenses weekly, monthly, quarterly. You got to deal with taxes, HST remittance, and income tax at the end of the year. You've got to maintain a database and management and manage it. There's so many aspects to it that easily fill up the day. Not everybody does it, but we're talking about what I do in my business. And it's a business. And for us, it happens to be a family business.
Yeah. And so something like that, I mean, that sounds like something, it sounds like something you can't do part-time. I mean, that.
Well, it's a different type of business if you do it part-time.
So
this is what your mother and I do full-time as full-time realtors, right? There are people that do it part-time, and bless them and good for them, and that's how they chose to do it. And I don't know of any part-timers that are doing. I shouldn't say. I mean, everybody has their own. Somebody might be happy doing 2 or 3 transactions a year, and if that's their goal, good for them.
Yeah,
we could never survive on that.
Oh, of course.
But even if you do nothing and you don't treat it like a business, you can still get through family and the odd person referring you through family and friends 1 or 2 transactions. I mean, if I took the battery out of my watch, it's still going to be right twice a day.
That's true.
He hates that quote because I use it all the time for a lot of things.
All the time.
And that's true of real estate. Just because you do a transaction or 2 doesn't mean you're running a business. And so that's where the hours come in. And a lot of people don't get it. The minute they think you're self-employed, they think you could do what you want and when you want, which is true, but that's harder. It's harder to make your own decisions. I have a saying that I say to myself all the time. Don't cheat your boss. I'm my own boss. I shouldn't cheat myself. And it's funny, there's a lot of people that go to work every day. They're really motivated to work hard for somebody else. To satisfy their supervisor, to look good in front of their boss. Then you leave them on their own and they're not coming in early anymore. And they're, so that's the amount of hours I put in. If we're looking at on average between 7 to 9 every day, I work easily 80 hours a week.
Jeez. That's a lot of hours.
And I'm not complaining about it because it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It just feels,
But I think a part of that is also because it's kind of integrated into everything that integrated into different parts of your life. So if you're at home, you can spend time with us, let's say having dinner, but and that time we spend together maybe an hour or so. But then you go back to work, and if you're working from home, it's still like you're kind of here. It's not like
I have an office at my brokerage. I keep an office there to meet clients. I have a home office here. Sometimes we're meeting clients here. You've seen them come in and out, and just because sometimes it's easier, more comfortable after dinner. If I don't have appointments, then I'll work in my home office, and usually in the evening, I'm returning phone calls many times or speaking to people that I need to speak with. And sometimes it's just difficult to do that during the day when they're at work.
Well, I imagine that's the case for a lot of things, right? If you have any deals you're going to put together, or if you're looking at any offers, I mean, most people are doing that stuff after they're done working. Right. So it's like you kind of, in terms of the actual customer service side of your business, that only happens after 5.
Yeah.
Right.
When they're not working,
yeah,
that's when they want to deal with me.
That's when they want to go see houses, stuff like that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Weekends also.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
When our
yeah.
families, my brother calls, hey, come over for a barbecue. I said, I can't do an open house or am I showing?
Yeah.
But it's Sunday. I know it's Sunday, and that's when people have time.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to complain.
Yeah.
I love what I do, but I'm just giving you the reality.
No, of course. Of course. So now, okay, if you're putting in 80 hours a week, right? The common perception is that you are making a killing.
I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream.
All realtors make a killing. Isn't that
we make millions. We make millions.
I thought that's how it worked. All realtors, you get your real estate license and you're automatically driving a Mercedes.
Automatic.
It comes with the license, right?
You get Treb. They're Treb Mercedes. When you hit your 10-year anniversary, then they trade the Mercedes for a Maserati. That's how it works. It's automatic.
Oh, that's funny.
Everybody get their license.
Yeah. That's a joke. That does not happen. Because
let's talk. There's perception and reality.
Mm-hmm.
We're joking around with price or with how much money, but that's perception.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel all realtors are just making a ton of money, and there are some realtors making a killing, and they've built up their business just like any other business. So some restaurants barely getting by, making their monthly lease payments on their rental, and there's other restaurants expanding and just making a fortune. It's how the business is run.
Yeah.
We do okay. I'm not going to tell you what we make because I don't want you to get any crazy ideas in your head. We do okay. We do well above what the average, not even close to what the average realtor makes. We do well. Mm-hmm. But there's many more realtors making more money.
Yeah.
But let me give you the reality, okay? And it's just simple mathematics. Mm-hmm. We'll use 2018 just because I got the stats for the whole year. In 2018, there was 78,000 homes sold. Every sale, and this is across the GTA, every sale has 2 sides to it, the listing side and then the buying side. So there's 2 commissions off of every sale. So if we double that, the 78,000 homes sold, that's 156,000 transactions.
Okay.
Last year, approximately, there were 50,000 realtors registered on Treb. So 156,000 transactions, 50,000 realtors, that's 3.12 transactions per realtor.
Yes.
So with this scenario, this is real life numbers. Last year, the average realtor sold or had 3 transactions. The average selling price of a home for last year across it, so this is condos, this is everything, condos, homes, town semis. The average selling price was $787,000. So let's say $800,000. Mm-hmm. We'll say the average commission is 2.5%, but everybody knows that there's negotiations there and so forth. But let's just go high. The average commission is 2.5%. That means the average realtor for one transaction made $20,000, did 3 transactions. So the average realtor gross commission last year was $60,000. You take away office expenses, you take away marketing expenses, you take away the fancy car that they're driving. They're all leased. Oh. Nobody owns their cars.
Always.
They're all leased. You take away all that and income tax.
Yeah.
The average realtor's really taking home about $30,000 a year.
Yeah. Oh wow.
The average. Now, there's many realtors that did 0 or 1 transactions because 3 is the average. Mm-hmm. And there's other realtors doing 30, 40, 50 transactions. Yeah. So it's very skewed. And I don't quote me on this, but I believe the numbers were that about 10% or 15% of the realtors do about 80% of the transactions.
That doesn't leave much else for the rest of them.
No. So,
wow.
Yes, if you do it properly, but that's no different than any other profession. If you do it properly, treat it like a business work harder than you would as if you had a regular 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
You could do extremely well, and we've been fortunate, and we love what we do, and financially we're doing well. Everything is good.
Yeah.
But not for every realtor.
Well, that's
just wanted to dispel that myth that every
Yeah.
realtor makes a fortune.
That's interesting because that's I hear that all the time, and it's interesting because I feel like certain people have a negative view towards realtors, and it's also
they do, but that's for different reasons.
But it almost seems to be linked with the amount of money that they believe that realtors are making.
Part of it,
right?
Part of it is jealousy. Part of it.
If you're going to complain, then just become a realtor. If that's what you think,
It's.
If you're going to complain about how much they make, then just get your license and do it.
But
right?
Not all of them make that money. The reason that sometimes realtors have a bad name, in all honesty, is that some realtors just have really treated the public bad.
Yeah.
It's the
we're not going to name any names.
You want a list? We're not going to name any names, but there are. So it's like any industry, though. We've had issues in getting cars fixed before.
Yeah.
Right. And we find a good mechanic, does great, and then we've had other mechanics that cheated us, and you're wondering, like, why?
Yeah.
It's true of renovators. Some could go in and they do a great job, and other contractors just lie and cheat about what they do, charge more, don't do the work,
don't show up,
take the deposit, and they have a bad name. But in general, as humans, the whole industry, we say, is like used car salesmen.
Yeah.
There's some great ones, and then there's some others that'll sell you cars that are not so great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I guess it just comes with the territory.
It does.
So now, as a realtor, you've been, I think you mentioned that Mom was a realtor for about 17 years.
Yes.
You were a realtor for about 7 now.
I still am.
I'm still a realtor for about 7 now. Now, what would you say is one of the hardest things about being a realtor?
There are certain things that stand out right away.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is time away from the family.
Yeah.
When everybody else is coming home on the highways and on the road, I know they're going home and about to spend time with their families. I'm driving the opposite way. And okay, maybe there's no traffic because I'm going the opposite of traffic, but I'm going to a showing, to work. It's so time away from the family is tough, even on weekends. Many times I'm out the door early Saturday, Sunday mornings,
for sure.
right?
For
so
sure. There's a lot of stuff that even I've wanted to do with you. Like it's, golfing, right? Golfing is a 4.5 hour minimum event. And I mean, just to try and plan something like that with you seems to be next to impossible.
Yeah, but that's not just about real estate. Planning golf with me is because would take you 4 hours, takes me 7.5. So I got to book a whole day off. That's the problem with the golf. So time away with the family. The other thing that I find difficult about being a realtor is managing your time. I'm already putting in a lot of hours, and I need to make them the most productive as possible.
Yeah.
And when I first got into it, I look at something and say, you know what, I can do that later this evening at home. Let me do something more productive now. And I could do this later at home, or let me put that into this file over here, and let me put that into the inbox here to do. The to-do box is never empty.
Yeah.
And all these things I was putting off to do later at home, well, I wouldn't finish at 9 or 10. I could easily go to midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. It just would never stop. So managing your time, there's so many other distractions through the course of the day. So managing your time is tough.
So when it comes to managing your time, I want to ask you because, there's a lot of, if you read a lot of books about trying to be successful, trying to be more productive.
He meant podcasts. We listen to podcasts now.
One of the main things they talk about is being able to manage your time but they talk about doing things in setting aside time to do certain things, right?
Yeah.
So they'll say, 7:30 to 8 o'clock is when you should be eating breakfast. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock is when you should be responding to emails. Be efficient at these times, this time, and then. So how do you do that? Because I know with you, I see it all the time where you're doing something, you might just have started something, and then all of a sudden you get a call from a client, and it's like, okay, this is something you need to attend to now, and you don't have the time to go back to what you do. So how do you go around? How do you get around that and find time to actually get the core stuff that you need to do done when you have so many other stuff, so many other things popping up throughout the day?
My day is broken down as to this is the time I'm looking at emails. This is the time I'm returning phone calls. This is the time I'm devoting to lead generation and prospecting. And this is the time I'm devoted to looking at property, meeting with clients, and so forth. But things come up.
Yeah.
And depending on that thing that comes up, I got to decide, do I push that to the time I'm supposed to deal with that, or do I deal with it right now? And it really is on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
If somebody says, Santo, I'm looking for properties in this area. When you have some time, let me see what's out there. Well, I'll say, no problem. I will get to that for you. I'll have it for you this afternoon. No rush. So I'm not going to deal with it that moment.
Yeah.
I can deal with it in an hour or two.
Yeah.
Somebody else calls me and says, Santo, I saw this house on the open house on a weekend. I really want to buy it. Let's go see it. I'm out the door as fast as possible with him, because if it's a good house at a good price, I know it's not just a good house or a good price for my client. There's other people
For
also.
everyone, right?
Right. So if I'm offering the right service to my client, I can't put that off.
Yeah.
I got to drop everything and go deal with him. And that's one of the beauties of working with your mother and having a partner, is that between the two of us, we can kind of cover for each other that way.
Yeah. And so that definitely helps, I'm sure, as well, when it's when you're talking about a lot of the administrative tasks too, right?
Yeah.
So I know that you've been able to get some help with the administrative stuff. And
I
so
get help with the administration. I get help with the marketing. You're a big part of that now.
Yeah.
While you're in university, working part-time with us and helping us with the marketing, some of the administration. So your mother and I could focus more on what helps our customers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help my customer if I'm spending time filling out paperwork.
Yeah, for sure. No, of course. That sounds like a lot. I mean, that sounds like a lot of stuff. I guess it comes with running any business.
Yep.
There is a lot of stuff to deal with, but
You're running a business, but you had asked me, what are the hardest parts about what I do? I said, time away from the family, managing time. Is another one that I think is very unique to what we do.
What's that?
Justifying our worth.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody has conversations with their lawyer and ask their lawyer to reduce their fees. I don't know if anyone goes and visits the doctor and says, reduce your fee. Well, actually, OHIP covers that, so they don't care. They'll go to the doctor. But your accountant, the grocery store, your mechanic, real estate is one of the only professions where you show up and people are trying to bring your commission down.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's justified depending on the service that you give. And I'm not saying every realtor is worth the commission, because some just don't do anything and still try to charge what they charge, and others do a hell of a job. But that's one of the things that I find I need to deal with out there.
Yeah.
That especially you get a phone call right away. They don't know you. They don't know your name. They don't know anything about you. They don't even know if you're staging, if you're marketing. They don't know anything about, but right away, what's your commission? Well, that's really not the first question. They're asking the wrong question.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's what value are they getting? But
For sure.
that's another story. And then one of the hardest things, and it's true of any business, budgeting when you don't have a guaranteed income. I get paid 100% commission. So budgeting when you're on 100% commission, planning for the future, planning ahead, it's not always easy.
That's
You
gotta
really
be
got to
difficult.
look at the numbers. There's been times where, your mother and I have lived off credit cards because business wasn't coming in.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes it's feast and famine,
Yeah.
You have a few months, everything is crazy, and then it slows down, and then it's up and down.
Yeah.
And, you get better and better at budgeting. And those are some of the hardest things that I've had to deal with in real estate.
Yeah, that's difficult, and I know it's tough because it's you never know when the next check's gonna come in, right? But at the same time, it's
But now we
something.
know.
Yeah.
We had to go through those
Yeah.
times because now we have a strong business.
Yeah.
We have a strong following.
And you can
We,
predict
we,
certain things.
it's yeah. Our business is more predictable now,
Yeah.
and we're not just it's like a restaurant. You
Yeah.
open a door on your first day. You don't know how many people are coming. Eventually, people get to know you.
Yeah.
You do a good job. They come back. They tell their friends. Next thing you know, you just know you're going to be full on the weekend.
Yeah.
You just know that as a restaurant because every weekend you're full.
Yeah.
We know that too. We know our business, there's a certain amount that's just automatic every year because of the following we've built up.
Yeah. That's interesting, and that's I think a good lesson for some new realtors that are getting into the business. That I think that's one of the biggest things that they'll probably have to deal with is just the fact that if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna do it full time, you have to know that there's gonna be times where things aren't necessarily as great as they could be,
You
right?
got to
When it
build up
comes
to
to
it.
deals and stuff like that, and it's I guess that's what separates the good realtors, the ones that are doing it, and the ones that have been through it and have been doing it now for a long time, from the ones that can't really do it.
Yeah, it's not just time. Time's a factor, but also learning, understanding. We go to a lot of training, a lot of courses. We get good at that. We take marketing courses.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we do to improve our business.
So now, would you
But
say that?
there's also a lot of realtors that have been around for a long time and things haven't changed for them.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Would you say that the because you hear it all the time, whether it's realtors or whether it's actual homeowners, everything seems to be surrounded by, the market is this, the market is bad, that's why I'm not making money. The market is good, that's why I am making money. Do you think that the market actually plays a strong role in terms of someone's earnings as a realtor?
I don't think the market plays very little in somebody's ability to make money.
So why do you say that?
Well, because the market is the market.
Mhm.
It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
How I adapt to what's going on in the market is more important than what the market is doing.
Yeah.
The market is going to do what it does. How do I adapt to it? Let's say, for example, things fall apart and prices just start to crash.
Yeah.
Which nobody's predicting this, folks. This is the relax.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. But let's just say,
Yeah.
well, what are you gonna say? Is the market bad? Well,
Yeah. I would say.
but I wouldn't. You see,
Well, yeah, I
the
guess
market's
not.
bad if you're thinking of selling.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking of buying, well, this is like a dream come true.
Yeah.
So if you're cash heavy and you're an investor, investing as the market is high is kind of difficult. But as prices are dropping, it's a great time for an investor.
Yeah.
Right. So there's always opportunities. Plus, in if someone's selling and buying in the same, it really doesn't matter because you might be selling low, but you're buying low too, right? If it's going up, you're selling high, but you're buying high. It's not about the market. It's really the
About
marketing and how you adapt to the market.
So it's about the person.
It's about the person. It's about the realtor and how they deal with their surroundings.
That's interesting.
It's true of so many things
Yeah.
out there, right?
So now you've mentioned a lot of stuff as to why it's so hard to be a realtor.
Did I say it's hard?
Are you talking yourself out of it?
There's challenges. Let's call them challenges. Now I'm thinking, do I still want to be a realtor? There's challenges for sure.
Yeah.
But I love it. Every day,
So
believe me,
yeah, that was my next question then. Why do you do it?
because your mother wants me out of the house for as long as possible. I love what I do. I love the aspect of being self-employed. I've been self-employed most of my life, You remember when there was a time where I actually did take a position with one company, then another. For a short time, I was a recruiter for Remax,
Yeah.
and just having someone else kind of overseeing me, telling me to do this, that, when I maybe want to take it in another direction. And then sometimes that other person would make a mistake, but I'd be kind of the one who suffers, or they say they're going to expand. I'm excited about expanding this organization, and then they're not expanding anymore. I want to do my own thing. I've always done my own thing. And it's because I want to live and die by my decisions.
Yeah.
So I want to make the choices. I don't want a ceiling. If I am going to make certain moves and do certain transactions and do certain things and certain plays that doubles my income next year, that's on me. That's my choice.
Yeah.
But I can also do the wrong things, sleep until noon every day, where my income goes half.
Yeah.
And that's on me also. I don't want somebody to tell me what I'm worth. I want to do the work. So I love the aspect of being self-employed. I really enjoy meeting new people. I love getting that phone call, and I don't know that person.
You know why? Can I just say, you know why you enjoy meeting new people?
Why?
Because you recycle the same jokes.
Yeah.
And you have
fresh meat. Fresh meat. I only know 3 or 4 jokes, and I keep using them all the time. So I need to meet new people because they think it's funny. People, I say it after the 3rd, 4th time, they start rolling their eyes. But I love meeting new people, and it's almost a challenge, because most people, when they find out I'm a realtor, or let's say it's at an open house, right?
Yeah.
And they come in, you start talking to them. Most people right away are like, "Oh, he's a realtor. Stay away, stay away."
Yeah.
He's just trying to sell me the house.
Yeah.
And although in the background that could be true, we're not all the same, right? And I know I've got to break through that wall. So it's almost like a challenge. And I genuinely just talk to people, right?
Yeah.
So I enjoy meeting new people. But the one thing that stands out for me, that I love more than anything, is the intimacy of the transaction. The buying and selling is, for most people, the biggest financial decision they make.
Yeah.
And they invite me into their home. What starts off as, we're thinking of selling, what's our home worth? Come to my house, have a look, tell me what I could sell it for. It starts off as very cold, say. They're just, they're interviewing realtors. Come by, give me a price.
That makes sense.
But they've been thinking about this for months, if not years.
Yeah.
They've been thinking about this. And finally they call, and it's very cold. You show up, and I have a conversation, and I talk, and I explain, and we enjoy each other. Because 3 things happen when I go to a meeting. Either they're going to like working with me, I'm going to like working with them, or neither one of us want to work with each other, right? We got to hit it off. So I'm involved. We're walking through the house, we're talking about staging, and I'll so we need to move this furniture. There's too much furniture here. We need to take stuff out. And they remember buying that sofa 20 years ago. They remember getting that dining room table as a wedding gift 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And now I'm telling them they got to take it out. And you can see their eyes sometimes watering if they're downsizing. If they're upsizing, it's a different conversation. It's not so much about the sale, it's more about the buy. That they're going into their dream home. Sometimes
it's
very personal, very intimate. And then offers come in, and then we're going through. Sometimes it's the kids that their parents have passed away, or their parents are in an old age home, and I'm selling the house on behalf of the estate. The kids hire me to sell the house. There's so many intimate aspects about it. Or it's a newlywed couple. They've been renting a condo. Now they're ready to buy their first purchase. They just have a child. We get invited to baptisms. We get invited to weddings. And I'm so, it's the intimacy, but I'm honored and like genuinely honored that people invite me into their homes like this and take the time, and I just want to do the best for them.
Yeah.
So I love that part of the business. And I never counted on that. I didn't count on not liking it. It's not something I really understood until
you actually
actually did it. Because you just think of, I got to sell a house, I got to find a house for the buyer. Once you're connected there, it's magic. It's beautiful.
Very emotional experience for them. So, I mean, it's always good to have someone that you know, that you like, that you trust to be on your side.
Well,
right?
If I was to tally up my friends, my real estate clients by far surpass the amount of friends I have. Like my clients have become my friends.
That's true.
More so than people I knew from before that were non-clients. So I have way more client friends than just regular friends now.
That's very true. All right. Well, I think that's our time for today.
Beautiful.
We are going to end this podcast now. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for spending time with us today.
Yes, thank you. And so we'll be back on Tuesday. When you see this, it'll be airing on Friday. But so hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to download the podcast. The podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, pretty much all the platforms. And we also have the video version if you'd like to see us as we're talking. I'm not sure how many of you would like to see us, but if you do,
I'm pretty. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty.
If you do, it's available on our YouTube channel. So subscribe to us there too. That would really help. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys soon.
Have a great day.